What's up, everybody? TonyPizzaGuy here, back again. In NXT War Games just ended, and it seems a bit weird right now because it's only 8:30 Central Time when I'm recording this, and that's when the pay-per-view ended. We had 4 matches, 2 War Games, and a pre-show match. Let's go ahead and run this down. We'll do a little review here. We'll put this up on YouTube. You guys let me know what you think about NXT War Games. Were you a huge fan of it? We got 2 different War Games matches. The first ever female one. We had an amazing one with a surprise return at the end of the night. And then we had 2 other matches plus the pre-show. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So on the pre-show, we did get notified that Mia Yim was not going to be able to be in the War Games match. So we'd have Dakota Kai taking her place in that. Now, I didn't actually watch the pre-show match, but it was Isaiah Scott, Swerve, and Angel Garza. And Angel Garza ended up picking up the victory with the wing clipper finisher. Again, I didn't watch this because I didn't tune in the pre-show, but the big thing to take away was that Mia Yim was out and that we had Dakota Kai stepping in. So we're going to start off War Games with the women's cage match. They have a nice little entrance. I love the War Games thing. I just love when the cage comes down. They have their... The only problem is that I don't like the little buzzer noise where it's like... And then they're trying to explain the rules while this is going on, and it's just driving me away from the action. But that's neither here nor there, so we'll go on. We'll move on from this. So... we know the rules. We got to wait for everybody to get out into the ring. And once everybody's in the ring, the match officially starts. We have Team Ripley, which was Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, and Dakota Kai. And we had Team Baszler, Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kaylee Ray. Candice LeRae and Io Shirai started the match off, and then it went on about 30 seconds. We had a 7-minute timer. We had blah, blah, blah. People come in. Everybody came in. And once everybody came in, the match actually started. Again, there was a big story to be told out of this one. The main thing to take away from this match was that Dakota Kai did a heel turn. That's right. Dakota Kai, now a heel, turning on Tegan Nox, just destroying Tegan Nox. So Tegan Nox was out of this. She couldn't compete. Dakota Kai just slammed the door into her a million times, beat her up, pulled her arm, and then she left, and then Tegan Nox left. So that was it. There was 2 women down on there, and you were wondering, how, Rhea Ripley, how Candice LeRae, how are you going to pull this off? Well, it does get pulled off because at one point there was handcuffs introduced, and Rhea Ripley had those on. She actually put them around Shayna Baszler while Shayna Baszler was going for the submission victory, put them on her, and she was like, excuse me, I don't want to be handcuffed to you. And then she picked her up and threw her through the chairs, the riptide to be exact, through the chairs. 4 chairs were set up, like a table chair thing. Boom. 1, 2, 3. There's the victory. There's the pinfall. And then I was just watching this and I was thinking, wait, isn't it elimination? And then I realized that's War Games is not elimination. For some reason, I kept thinking it was an elimination match, but I just wasn't sure that it wasn't, but it wasn't, obviously. But I think maybe elimination would be interesting. I don't know. Just think about the old War Games match where they had the top on it and then there's no top on this one. But honestly, this was an okay match. I don't think out of War Games history this is going to be like the greatest, but I think Dakota Kai Tegan Nox stuff is going to definitely set the tone here. And definitely, you know what's amazing about this is Dakota Kai left and Tegan Nox got beat up, but if you look in the record book, they still got wins. They still, so if you think about it, Dakota Kai heel turn, she still got a win because her team got the victory. So there you go. That's a win in my book. So honestly, I'll give this match a thumbs up. I'm just going to go thumbs up, thumbs down on these because really, or thumbs middle, but I'll give this one a thumbs up. Basically, Dakota Kai turning heel, much needed because Team Kick to me didn't really do a lot in NXT. She didn't really have a groundbreaking character. I feel like she kind of was like an underdog story that you've always seen before in wrestling, kind of similar to like, I don't even say Bailey, but something that was kind of like, yay, let's go. And then it's like, now we're getting something interesting with Dakota Kai. And we'll see where they go with her and Tegan Nox. But I'm interested to see. I think this is going to do good things for her. And heel turn for her, fantastic. Now we're into our triple threat match of the evening. We had Pete Dunne, Killian Dane, and Damian Priest. And I will say this. This was one of those least favorite matches I was looking for. Out of the 2 other that weren't the War Games, I was really looking at Finn Balor's return against Matt Riddle. But I wasn't really like hyped on this, to be honest. I'm not, didn't really care too much, but I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty good for a triple threat match, NXT style. So if you didn't realize, Damian Priest had Scott Hall gear, which was cool. And at one point he did a Razor's Edge, which was really sick. So that actually happened. And I just thought it was a sweet match. I thought this was all three of them going at it, doing all their great moves, doing the big stuff. Yet, Damian Priest and Killian Dane, the big boys doing their big boy stuff. And I love seeing that. And then Pete Dunne coming in, picking up the scraps at the end. And I do like that. So what we're looking at is for Pete Dunne, apparently Adam Cole is what the takeaway is here at Survivor Series. We're going to get the title match. If Adam Cole can make it after that War Games match going on, is he going to make it? I don't know. Honestly, I will tell you this. Watching this match, I kind of was just like doing other things. I was making dinner at the time, and I wasn't really paying attention to this. This was one of those matches that I was like least interested in because there's a lot of going on in NXT, right? You got the Survivor Series, and that's really what was like throwing me off from this whole NXT triple threat thing. It was like, there's a lot going on for Survivor Series. And I really was like, okay, so we have War Games and we have this, and then we have the NXT involved in Survivor Series. And I just kind of zoning this one out. So honestly, I will say that lapse of judgment, I don't know, didn't really pay attention. I mean, I will say this, it did what it was supposed to do. So I'll give this thumbs in the middle. Pete Dunne with the win. It just makes me feel weird, right? Because Pete Dunne, he's a guy who I feel like should have been farther along in his career at this point. I don't know. I felt like NXT UK champion. He was doing great things. He was like on fire. He did stuff in NXT as well. And then it just came down to him like, man, I really wanted more for Pete Dunne. I feel like he's always just been kind of around, whether it's UK, whether it's NXT. He's all kind of been around. I want big things for Pete Dunne. I feel like he could be a huge superstar, but I don't know, maybe it's just he doesn't connect, or maybe, I don't know. But I like Pete Dunne. I think he should do great things, but I don't know. It just seems like he floats by here. So I don't know. Then we had the match that I was looking forward to was Finn Balor back in NXT versus Matt Riddle. As we know, Johnny Gargano was out, so he wasn't able to compete. So Matt Riddle filled in, taking his place, making sure that he's going to go up against Finn Balor. And this was Finn Balor's debut back in NXT TakeOver pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. His return to NXT pay-per-view TakeOver. Here we go. And I will say this, I was kind of disappointed by this match. I think they did a good job back and forth here. At one point, I think we had the Bro Mission, and I thought that was going to be it. And I was like, are they really going to have Finn Balor lose? So I think they did a good job of like back and forth and make me feel like Finn Balor could lose this. But in the end, it was the Bloody Sunday, 1916. Is that what he's calling it? 1916? Yeah, I like the Bloody Sunday. Anyway, DDT does that finish, win, victory. At one point, Matt Riddle did a jackhammer, bro, near fall. That was one. Again, I felt like I was expecting more because it was Finn Balor back in NXT. I was like, okay, this is going to be a 5-star banger, but I just felt like it was kind of passable. I'm not going to say it was a bad match, but I don't think it was anything that was like groundbreaking and you're like, yes, this is what NXT TakeOver is all about. When you think about all the great NXT TakeOver moments, right? Because there's a lot of them. And NXT TakeOver is definitely something you want to catch. Even if you don't like the Wednesday product, you definitely want to tune in for TakeOver. And I feel like this was kind of just one of those things where it was like, all right, so Finn Balor's back in NXT. He got his victory over Matt Riddle. Now we'll see where this goes. Are we leading to a match Balor? Finn Balor? Are we leading to a match with Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano? I'm sure we will. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. We got Survivor Series coming up, so we'll see more of the NXT talent over there. And then we have the War Games match coming up in the next match here on the card. But again, I will give this just like a thumbs in the middle. It wasn't bad. It was all right. It just wasn't something that I was, because you know how I feel about Finn Balor. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I feel like his best matches are behind him. Once he went to the main roster, it was kind of like he just kind of did stuff. Again, not really going to the limit, emptying the tank for all this. You know what I mean? But now I feel like, okay, he's back in NXT. Let's empty the tank. Let's go to the limit. No holds barred. And I didn't really get that feeling here. Again, not a bad match. Just wasn't what I expected. And now we have our main event of the evening. This is the War Games match. We had the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong versus Team Ciampa, which we had Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and a mystery partner. Now, Tommaso Ciampa tweeted out that their mystery man may or may not be out here. If he comes out, cool. If he doesn't, you know what? We still got this down on lock. So, the big takeaway here that we'll talk about is this was War Games stuff. Tables got introduced at one point. There was a lot of craziness out of this. There was a lot of big table bumps. There was amazing stuff. And we had to know who the fourth member was. They showed the entrance for a couple times. Nobody came out. Nobody came out. Nobody came out. Boom! It's Kevin Owens. And what a throwback it was to see Kevin Owens back in NXT. He was wearing the old duct tape t-shirt, which the KO with the duct tape, and he had his old Tron. And it was just good to see Kevin Owens back doing that stuff. As you remember, Triple H kind of tried to recruit him and said, you're either with us or you're against us. And the war was on, and Kevin Owens chose Team NXT. So going forward, is Kevin Owens an NXT roster member for life, brother dude Jack Daddy? I hope so. I think that would be pretty cool. There was an insane finish to this match, which was Tommaso Ciampa up top, Adam Cole up top. They're going to go off the top through tables, and it's going to be insane. So, it is called the white noise. You know the move where he jumps off backwards, drops him through two tables, off the top of the steel cage. Okay, watching this back and forth, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was saying, what the hell? He's going to break his ass. And yes, indeed, it did look like Tommaso Ciampa broke his ass. And I don't understand how he was able to stand up after that, but Team Ciampa is your victors here in this contest. There it was. Tommaso Ciampa, victors here. I will say this, there was a lot of crazy spots in this match. The big takeaways were Team Ciampa winning, and then Kevin Owens coming out. Just watch this match for yourself. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it. There's a lot of crazy spots. Tables came in from Adam Cole, ring, cage door was shut after the tables were coming in, and then Kevin Owens, and then frog splash and swantons, and Kevin Owens doing stuff with tables, and oh my gosh, what a crazy night it was. Again, I will say this as far as like history of like War Games goes. You got the Undisputed Era, who's the War Games Masters, right? This is like their match. They're always in War Games matches, so it was cool to see that. And again, I don't think this was craziest War Games. I think the Viking Raiders, right? Is that what they're called? War Machine, War Raiders, whatever freaking call them, back in NXT. They had a really insane takeover match, which was War Games. I believe AOP and them had if someone can refresh my memory here, but I believe like AOP, wasn't that where Roderick Strong turned on AOP? I don't remember. There were some crazy War Games matches in the past, and those were, I'd say, memorable, but I can't even remember them right now. But I will say this. This is like your standard War Games match. I give it a thumbs up with Kevin Owens coming out back in NXT, the shocker there, and just to see him wrestle on NXT again, it's cool. And we'll have to see what they're going to do going forward with Kevin Owens. And again, I also, Finn Balor, again, I'm just looking to see what they're going to do here. But then we ended the show, and that was it. There was no invasion from the main roster. There was no Survivor Series set up. None of that. I was thinking we'd get something maybe, but they ended on the carnage of War Games. The only people standing, I believe Keith Lee got up first, and then he helped Ciampa get up, and I believe it was just Keith Lee and Ciampa, and everybody else was just laying there. As Mauro Ranallo put it, he said, you don't win War Games, you survive. And they definitely did survive. And it was cool to end the show after that huge bump. And then we're going to Survivor Series to see all the carnage and the action and everything. So, anyway, I will give this a rating because that's what we are doing here today. We'll give this a thumbs up on the show. I will say for 4 matches, female one had a great story. The male one had a great ending. Finn Balor could have been better. Triple Threat was just passable. But it's skin. I always base it off of, was this a waste of time watching this? Do I feel like I could have been doing something better with my time? And I will say, no, I think it was fine. It was great. It was good. In the grand scheme of things, will I remember this? Will I go back and rewatch this? Probably not. But I will say it was a dang good time watching it. Dakota Kai is now a heel. That's probably my favorite thing out of the night. And then also Kevin Owens back in NXT. So let me know what you guys thought of this in the comment section below. Make sure you smash that like button if you do enjoy this and want to see more reviews. And as always, I'm TonyPizzaGuy. We will see you in another video.